all-powerful, starting with the elderly wolf uncle chapter 140. I hope it's not my delusion. The moon on the sky, slowly sprinkling moonlight towards the world. Ming Ming is gentle in the moon, and he is also wearing autumn clothes. But Agent Hill still inexplicably felt that tonight seemed a little cold. The escort convoy continued forward. Rogan noticed that the body continued to return to motion, took a deep breath, and tried to break free from the chains on his body. However, even though he was bruised and gritted his teeth because of his strength, he had no chance to break free after being suppressed by his strength. Damn it, boom. He slammed the carriage in anger and then lay powerlessly on the floor. Now Logan blames himself in his heart, not only can't take care of a few children, but even can't save himself. In this way, when Chen Tian was about to leave, he told him that he could safely hand it over to himself. I'm really useless, Logan muttered in disappointment. His eyes were already red. Chen, he will come to save us. Laura's eyes flickered, looked at Logan lying on the ground, and slowly spoke firmly. Yes, Chen is so powerful, as long as he comes, it is completely no problem to rescue us. Pete also spoke eagerly at this time. I don't know if I'm comforting Logan or comforting myself. As for Wanda, he couldn't help but think what if Chen Tian encountered any danger in order to save them. Everyone reacted differently. Inside the carriage, except for the hum of the engine and the constant shaking, it was temporarily quiet. Long after, alas, Chen, Logan couldn't help but let out a long sigh, hopefully. But that said, after learning that Professor Charles was taken alone by the people of xianxia. In fact, in the bottom of his heart, he already does not have much confidence in the rest of his life. According to Pete Wanda, after he fainted, Professor Charles was taken in the exact opposite direction to them by xianxia people. And Rogan is very familiar with the direction in which Professor Charles was taken away. Naturally, it is Xavier Genius Academy. It wasn't just Professor Charles's life's work. It is also the birthplace of the cop, as well as Wolverine Logan. Howlett has experienced many honors and disgraces. However, now that time has passed, it is estimated that it has completely turned into ruins. And the only thing left is probably a brainwave enhancement machine specially built for Professor Charles. The mongrel of xianxia seems to want to use Professor Charles to exterminate the mutants. Rogan closed his eyes in some pain when he thought of this. Professor Charles's nemesis Stryker did just that, and almost succeeded. What happened at that time left an indelible shadow in the hearts of all mutants. It can be said that when Professor Charles used the brainwave enhancement machine to strengthen his psychic ability, and then tried to erase the consciousness of all mutants. Everyone has already faced the dead once. Fortunately, Stryker's conspiracy was later dismantled. But that terrifying sense of near death is something Logan no longer wants to face. If that's really the case, I'd rather Chen Tian never come back. Logan took a deep look at the Wanda siblings, as well as Laura, but still didn't say anything. Maybe this time, if the xianxia conspiracy is really implemented. Even if Chen Tian came back, he would not be able to return to the sky. The other side, Delanhay Manor. Chen Tian, who was expressionless, slowly walked out of the already empty villa. However, although he looks calm now, he can feel the murderous intent in his eyes and on his body. Whoever dares to touch himself will have to pay a terrible price. And just after Chen Tian walked out of the gate of the villa, he looked around the manor, not only squinting his eyes, but the terrifying murderous intent under his eyes was churning. At this moment, the entire manor has been blocked by the police cordon for most of the time. There are also many police officers who are busy pulling up new boundaries. These guys. Chen Tian glanced at him, his face turned cold, and walked in the direction where the police were. Breathe one by one, the wind blows. Blow the world under the night a little cooler. A police officer noticed a strange boy coming out of the manor. His face immediately became nervous. It's already blocked. No one can enter. Stop. And identify yourself. The policeman immediately shouted at Chen Tian. Judging from his attitude, it seemed that he did not know Chen Tian's specific identity. But it is also clear who lived in the manor before. However, Chen Tian was unmoved by his reprimand. Still walking forward slowly, the expression on his face became colder and colder. Duh, stop. Indicate yourself, otherwise we will shoot. Quote. Then. The other policemen were also attracted by Chen Tian's attention, and their faces suddenly changed, and more than a dozen people took out the pistols at the same time and firmly locked the latter. What's going on here? Chen Tian's face calmly swept over the nervous faces of all the policemen, and he asked coldly. Extremely dangerous mutants have appeared here, which are now blocked. A policeman spoke with a serious expression. Now please prove that you are not a mutant, and then leave here. Otherwise we have the right to shoot directly. Chen Tian slowly raised his eyes, and the anger in him almost turned into substance. This is my home. His voice was cold. As soon as this sentence was spoken, the wind that had been blowing gently around seemed to have stopped. All the policemen's breathing stopped in unison. Everything is frighteningly quiet. Damn it. Some policemen's faces changed drastically, and he cursed angrily. It's a mutant monster. Mutants have appeared here. There were also policemen shouting at their companions in the distance. Bang bang. More people, but they shot directly without hesitation. More than a dozen pistols aimed at Chen Tian erupted flames at almost the same time, and dozens of bullets carrying huge kinetic energy rotated and condensed into a large barrage, directly breaking through the air and landing towards Chen Tian. As soon as Chen Tian stood calmly in place, the bullet fell on him, and it seemed to hit the steel, making a sound of metal crashing. Immediately afterwards, countless bullets that hit him and distorted fell to the ground one after another. Fuck. This monster is not afraid of bullets. Quote. When some policemen saw this scene, they were directly frightened and their pupils shrank suddenly, their bodies shook wildly, and they unconsciously took 2 steps back. "You're surrounded, hands up." Then, dozens of policemen in the distance also noticed the movement just now and surrounded this side. Nearly 100 policemen all held their guns, like a black tide, directly surrounding all directions around Chen Tian. Chen Tian's gaze was cold 327 and looked indifferently at those black holes, glowing muzzles. He took a step forward. One by one, invisible spiritual fluctuations spread out in an instant, shrouding all the policemen.